Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Gamehater, the show where we tell stories about our uncles and decide how much we hate them.
The stories are our uncles.
Yeah. Why not both? Terrible stories about terrible uncles.
That sounds perfect. If only there was an actual holiday for uncles. This would be the game for it.
It's true. I'd like my uncle better if there were stories about him.
Dad,
Aren't you sleeping yet? It's time for bed, honey.
Dad, I can't sleep. Can you tell me a bedtime story?
Once upon a time, you had a horrible uncle.
Something
He was the worst.
an adventure.
I'm pretty sure he's your real dad.
I
I've never
think
forgiven him.
you're Just the thing.
As for me, I'm your uncle, Dad.
I was your age. My
Let me tell you a story about me, your uncle.
And your mother, my sister.
I disappeared.
Sister-in-law? It's all very confusing at that point. Oh,
I mean, we're playing as
yeah.
Joffrey, I guess. So
It's a tangled web of
Stepped into the lobby of
incest
my
and
house.
genetics.
It lay just across the hill from where I lived with my mother, your grandmother. She had tried to keep me from going.
This is clearly a grandfather clock. I don't know
Was home yet from his
where the grandmother comes into things.
yeah, it seems to be very interested in family.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme. So we've got some family photos.
Yeah, these people look like they're from real life. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable.
Probably stock models. Oh my, someone. I'm not reading all that. Forensic science. We climbed that cave for days. This is feeling more and more like a conspiracy house. Organisms multiplying, sign of new lives. X plus X squared is the sum of Z.
God, don't make us remember this stuff. This is horrible.
I thought this math doesn't make. It's important, but they're just trying to make something look mathy.
Oh, the YouTube video link.
Not really where.
It was up there.
Oh,
YouTube.com something. Watch.
You want to see what that is?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. See what it is. I'll let you know. So give me just a second.
Yep. Did you get enough info?
No, I didn't get enough to pull it up yet.
All right.
So it's
Right here.
watch video equals EU2AI XKXIWG. Let's hope that's the right thing.
All right.
I like gotta wonder if it's the right thing because I got like toy skeleton haunted and possessed. This is demonic crazy. And it only has like 100 million views, so I feel like maybe I got the wrong thing. So,
Yeah,
but I
maybe.
mean,
Maybe a typo.
Yeah.
Oh well. There's another YouTube link here.
well, that is way too much work.
Dear Frederick, old friend, sedup precipitatus. Okay, they went into some Latin text. This isn't the usual lorem ipsum text.
No, it might actually mean something.
It might. It's been a long time, Eleanor. And this is
I
not.
think it said long time brother.
Oh, you think so? Why would his brother be named Eleanor? Okay.
I mean, maybe that's why they don't get along very well anymore because his mom named them Eleanor.
Right. Daddy's helmet. Bioshock reference. Probably.
Makes sense.
My uncle used to send me postcards from his long journeys. Greetings from Nepal, Galapagos.
Okay, so it's the
Kilimanjaro,
dad's uncle, not the girl's uncle.
This was the first time
So it's really a story about your great uncle.
without sending cards.
So he's not a terrible uncle. He's a great uncle. That's
Yeah, absolutely.
just quite a twist. That's not what we were expecting.
We may have figured it out a few hours too early. Uh-huh. Yeah. Fantastic. Fredericks.
Nice. There's a pipe. It does something.
There's a spelling error, too. Those physicists, man, they can't spell for crap. Alright, well, where does it all go? Negatives. Dangerous for children. Price, expensive prob. Okay. Got some circuitry and tubes. It's looking all very sciencey. Are you convinced that there's some science involved?
His name was Fred.
But in the locker, which usually was closed, I found something I hadn't seen before. It was an adventure suit. It resembled the one that Fred used.
An adventure suit. That sounds
Curiosity got the better of me,
suspect.
and I tried it on.
Yeah, I remember all those time when Uncle would hang out. I was like, "Hey, you want to see me in my adventure suit?" Mm.
Yes. I was also thinking like Venture Brothers, where Dr. Venture has
Mysterious room of my
a
uncle's
jumpsuit
house
that he
with
refers to as a speed suit. He's the only person in the world who calls it that.
Yeah.
Right now, it held a
No,
power
no.
used
This
to
isn't
dispose of
a
garbage.
space suit. It's an adventure suit. Opening dome.
We're opening a dome.
Alright, this must be the entrance to the game. Yep, I'm standing expectantly beneath the dome.
It is all shaking.
Here we
Oh, we're
go.
going in the air. And we're dead.
And this is probably going to be some credits.
Yeah, it's the end of the game. You beat it.
Mhm. What a good story.
Wow, I really like that game. So, what were your thoughts on it?
Well, I feel like I didn't really get a chance to relate to the characters. He didn't have a good justification for stealing the adventure suit.
Oh, come on. What's this? We're in a completely different game now.
Well,
We're only
it's
doing one Gamehater tonight.
It's a post credits.
I had no idea where the path had taken me, but back then, I didn't care.
So, when you walk around, you normally just like have your hand hanging out in front of you like that.
Is that? I mean, how do you not bump into things if you don't?
I guess if you're walking around with the power glove, that's what you got to do.
People need to know.
It's just so bad.
The suit protected me from
Wee,
falls
I can jump.
water. I couldn't swim with this thing on. Best be careful.
Drown like crazy in your adventure suit. And I forgot to
Whoa!
jump. What a disaster.
No, you survived.
Alright, well, and I'm done. You know what I love is first-person platformers.
Yeah, I never understood why anybody would want that.
I mean, they pull it off on rare occasions, like, oh, I forgot about this whole thing. I was just so excited about running across a bridge, I forgot that the bridge ends.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, it's sort of like the whole premise of Mirror's Edge that you platform in a
Yep.
first person.
Yes, it is, and people like it.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean-
Metroid Prime pulled it off. I may have started to say that before I dived off a cliff. Maybe
I was
finished.
thinking Metroid Prime too, but there's a lot of times where I didn't like it in Metroid Prime because it's just so hard to judge your distance no matter how well it's done.
Yeah, you always had to very painstakingly and carefully jump. Charge up the suit and release the power jump. Okay, I'm on board with power jumps.
I was sure that someone had been here before me. Someone had built these bridges and carved these symbols, but who? Where were they now?
Power leap. So one thing I'm noticing is this does the whole sleepy narrator thing that we've run into on a lot of story-based indie games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's rather unfortunate.
The good old,
Strange gizmo.
storytelling type of, tell don't show.
Yeah, exactly. I also love that. You found a collectible. Collect the collectibles.
Didn't say why you want to collect the collectibles. You just gotta collect them. They're collectible.
They're collectibles. Okay. Let's collect those collectibles. The movement's not bad. I mean,
Yeah, you seem to be getting around pretty well.
yeah. Ooh, let's collect some collectibles.
How did you know Fred had been there?
Well, I found a small campsite.
She's a little behind on this story.
Going further into the caves. I knew it was him because the place was littered with empty packages of his favorite hiking foods.
Trail mix and beans. Only my Uncle Fred could have been here.
Yeah, nobody in the world would go eating that kind of food.
Oh wait, there's also tubes of frosting.
In winter,
Uncle Fred loved his tubes of frosting.
and we were surprised
That does seem a little bit more unusual.
Yes.
We were stuck in a small cabin for 2 days.
Hiking enthusiasts are
It was too cute.
shaking their heads, I'm sure.
Goulash as well.
We don't eat frosting on hikes.
But I thought it was
As in, like, why don't we eat frosting on hikes?
We're burning all these calories. You deserve something. Okay, that was probably a dead end. Oh no! And I'm
Or
dead.
you try, like you're trying to maybe climb it? I don't know.
Yeah, he looked like there was hope, but there was no hope. Alright, so that's the campsite. Let's not go that way again. Well, one thing I'm immediately noticing is the controls are a little cumbersome. So to do this jump, I'm holding W to run, shift to sprint, and the right mouse button needs to be held and released in time. So not, the best way of controlling things. And maybe it's because I'm using a keyboard.
Was the gamepad not an option?
Well, I looked at screenshots and saw FPS, so I figured a keyboard would be better.
That's fair.
But maybe I'd be happier with... Since it's not actually a shooty shoot game, it's a jumpy jump game, I might have been happier with a controller. Do I want to go that way? Oh.
Yeah, if you're not shooting things, I mean, you really don't get much benefit out of the whole keyboard mouse combo.
No, you really don't. I'll try going up there. Probably fall to my doom. I won't be able to make the jump, and then I'll miss the platform on the way down. Yep. Good day.
Something that would not have happened if you were playing this in a 2D space. Well, obviously not a 2D space, but like a over the shoulder perspective.
Yeah, third person. Yep, for sure. Where am I trying to go? And look at the ground. Okay. So there's stuff that way. I guess there's stuff that way too, huh? Maybe I am going that way. I thought I was going back to where I started, but maybe I'm wrong and I should just go this way. And vertigo. Apologies to anyone with motion sickness.
Yeah, it's just funny. Like, you had to watch yourself fall like that. It's different.
Yeah.
the power core I found activated the
Yeah, we can grapple now.
Sweet.
It must have been left here by my uncle.
Well, that's nice.
That's way simpler.
Yeah. No, that's a long jump crap. And now for the no jump challenge. I can't go anywhere. Okay, so they're building up to combining skills. That's a good teaching method.
Yeah. Okay, you lived. That's good.
Symbol everywhere I grappled.
So we can see where our uncle is.
So you can probably grapple anywhere you want to then.
Yeah. The story of my uncle's favorite grapple points.
Certain this place was where Fred had gone.
I remember all the time Uncle would come home and he'd say, "Hey, little person, friend, nephew, niece, person. Did I ever tell you about that time I grappled against that one stone wall? Oh, it was my favorite grapple point."
I wish I could go back to that jungle island with the floating platforms and grapple there again.
Uncle, there are no floating platforms.
You don't know anything. Never touch my adventure suit. You're not worthy. This game has no excuse for not being VR, by the way. I'm going to be saying that a lot. No, that can be all VR snob about things.
It's interesting that they're doing the grapple beam like this. It makes me wonder if the missed opportunity that Metroid didn't do something similar. The Metroid Prime.
That's not crazy talk.
I mean, right now it's not working great, but there's some good opportunities here. Like that is basically 100% grapple beam in the 2D Metroids.
Yeah. There we go. I'm with you. This would be cool for Metroid. That makes me worried that this is gonna be one of those games where like there's like, hey, we found a game mechanic. That's all we need, just one.
Yeah.
Excuse me while I sneeze.
The only thing with this swinging is that it's too much that you're drawing yourself to it. There's not much of a curve to it.
It would be nice to be able to do some tricks.
Because you basically don't really have weight. You just get drawn towards the stuff. But it's different than the actual grapple beam.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, I would prefer swinging for sure. Okay, I'm having a lot of trouble with this section.
You had it before, and then you just lost it.
I think I got too high. That was my problem. Okay.
That happens to a lot of people.
I forgot which jump to do. I don't like this right mouse jump thing. That's a bad situation. Not a good look, Uncle Fred.
I think Uncle Fred is coming through here, looking at all these corpses of his. What are you? His nephew or his niece?
I believe I am the nephew.
All these corpses of his nephew
Yes.
is lying there because
Go.
his machine was a clone machine.
It's all very confusing. Yeah, the adventure suit is really just a cloning machine.
Adventure suit was fantastic. By combining a power leap,
Once you fall to the ground, the adventure suit just like picks itself off the ground and climbs back up there, all the while regenerating a new body for you.
I love it. I also like how the narrator was just hyping up the game. The adventure suit was fantastic. I can't seem to go anywhere. I'm not worthy of the adventure suit. And that was a bad time for a long jump.
Yeah, there was something interesting over there, it looks like.
Yeah, let's go. Let's try again. So I guess I just needed a regular jump. What is happening? I've been this way?
This is where a mini map would be nice.
Yeah, the layout is very confusing.
Turn the lights off.
Okay. Thanks.
We learned a thing. Uncle was over here doing a thing.
Yeah, he was printing out some plots. Little noisy harmonic signal over there. So one thing that can I jump on grappling? I'm finding it hard to get any height. So if I can like grab the bottom of a platform, and I'm still gonna fall to my doom.
Yeah, like you can only really
some
use that if
recovery.
you're using it to try to get to another platform, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Now I'm here again. Do I want to be there? I just don't know.
I'm just telling you, he wants to do a powerful leap and grapple.
All right, let's do it. Okay, there's a tree. That's quite a tree.
It's a cool looking tree.
I wish I had a tree like that in my backyard.
This is where you like really value those times when you just have like a trail of coins that you can follow and know, hey, this is where I'm supposed to be going.
Yeah, such a subtle way to help a player navigate. You will follow along. Cool. Let's go that way. Come back to floating platform. Yeah, it seems like I'm just like occasionally accidentally making progress. Oh no, oh no.
Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, you made it.
Yeah. I only seem to get 1 grapple per jump if I'm... Yeah. Let me test that out. Yeah, I only get the 1. So I have to make it count. Also, I wish the power jump acted as a double jump. It's so counterintuitive to have to pay attention to which jump button I'm pressing. Oh man,
We're already like
spinny
at the
block.
point where I'm just like sort of wondering like where in the heck are we going?
Hold on to your lunch. Yeah. Yeah, they really did just make a cool way to move around and stop thinking about what kind of game they want to make there.
Yeah, I really hope this isn't it because I mean, as cool a mechanic as this is, it needs more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something we harp on often, and I think we already did a little bit. Is just the executing a cool mechanic in one specific context is not enough to design a game.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. There's more LEDs on my glove. I bet I will eventually unlock more jumps or more grapples rather. As you can see, there's a circle on my wrist, and then one
Right.
section is lit up.
No, I'm pretty sure when all of them light up, that means your adventure suit has got the red ring of death.
I have to take my adventure suit, wrap it in a towel.
Yeah. Otherwise, it will just stop working.
Yeah, the scenery is just so nondescript. I mean, I guess I've got these arrows. Maybe these aren't just decorations and really are telling me where to go. I guess I've been kind of ignoring them.
Where is this leading us?
Adventure. That's always the answer in this game. We are going towards adventure. But yeah, I mean, if this game is really nothing but pointlessly grappling around, that's not enough.
Yeah, then you just like have half a game.
Right. I mean, we don't even have coins to collect. 2 times before.
Yeah, even at this point, like just having a collectible and not just progression would make quite a difference because then you would have like a incentive to go explore instead of exploring for the sake of, ooh, I
Yeah.
want to see what her uncle was doing.
Right. Right, and we're not even really getting that. It's just, hey, we have an uncle, and he was some kind of wacky adventure, and now he's missing. Which, I mean, presumably the game will give us something to go on. Oh, I timed that wrong. And this is good, getting some actual swinging. I like that in my grapple games. Would have been nice if it worked.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not going fast enough. Gotta keep the momentum. It
I think
seems
you need to just
sensitive
let
to
him
when
go a
you
little
let
bit
go.
sooner.
Yeah.
You want to risk actually running into the rock itself.
Right. Yeah, that was probably my problem. It's tight. Can I make it? No.
You should have
Can't.
grabbed on the ledge there.
Should have grabbed that ledge. I seem to be alive.
But where the hell are you?
In the Netherlands. Where only despair is king. I think I got this.
Boom.
Ooh. But again, I can't use my grapple to climb things, which is like the whole reason grapples even exist.
Well, I mean, normally you could climb on them, but it's been raining, so immediately can't climb anything.
That Zelda DLC really should have included something to let you climb in the rain. It's like the one armor piece that was clearly missing.
Well, I mean, like, even the armor pieces for climbing, like, made it seem like from their description that, oh yeah, this is gonna solve your rain climbing problem. It's like,
No.
no, it's not.
Nope, it's just a cool bandana. The worst is I had to fight a stone Talos in the rain one time.
Oh no, it's brutal.
Yeah, it's bad news. Of course, I'm an awesome gamer, so I didn't tell anyone I died.
Oh, I don't imagine that you would die in a situation like that.
No.
I mean, it would be still be so easy to kill him.
Yeah. I can't remember what I did. I think I may have waited out the storm.
It's like either that or just use up all your bomb arrows.
Yeah. Can't remember. I probably died. Let's go with that. We still haven't gotten any details on the new DLC, have we?
I know, it's absurd.
Yeah, I have a pet theory. Both Zelda and Horizon were springtime games. They're getting DLC in November, and possibly later for Zelda. But I strongly suspect that the whole point is to remind game websites that those games were good and should be game of the year.
There's that.
Yes.
I kind of feel like
For his research.
Nintendo didn't really have a whole vision for what their DLC was going to be.
I don't think
So I don't have high hopes for it. I don't think it's going to be nearly as big of an expansion as, say, Horizon Dawn got.
Yeah, maybe not.
Eggs? Were there chickens in the forest?
No, not chickens.
Hopefully there'll be something cool.
These were small and
Because the first DLC was pretty disappointing.
hundreds of them.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know why I bothered with it.
Frog eggs.
Well, because you get the tingle suit is the main
I
reason.
mean, there's that. That's true. That's like the main selling point there.
Some eggs back home, and one day, Fred will
Well, the Tingle Seed you can't even upgrade,
over his
Oh,
which I
that's-
mean it's fitting in its own way, but
It's already perfect.
mosquito eggs.
Ah, poor Fred.
I know. He did find real frog.
How do you confuse frog eggs with mosquito
He told me
eggs?
that they were very, very special, but I don't know.
I mean, I guess they're both in water. But frog eggs should be way bigger.
well, I mean this is frogs from a floating platform world, so you have no idea what these frogs are like.
It's true. They probably fly and suck your blood.
I mean, you would have to be able to fly if you're an animal in this world, just to be able to go from one landmass to another.
Yes, quite. Just having a super frog jump is not going to cut it. I mean, look how fast these things are whipping around. Oh, I had it.
It's not how gravity works.
None of this is how gravity works.
Your uncle is just like, yeah, I built this adventure suit specifically for a world where things just float in the air for no reason.
Right. I used the power of super science to teleport myself to an alternate reality without gravity. And grappled around for a few hours. Didn't accomplish anything, just, grappled around.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Made it just like a very primitive version of the Mario world. Where things just normally float anyway. But
That's true,
before they
there's a
got
lot
around
of
to,
arbitrary.
mining all these floating rocks into, making them into actual coin blocks.
Monetize the natural resources.
Or somebody
Yeah.
else
Blue
who
lights.
as well.
What a surprising twist.
Oh wow, did we get somewhere?
Yeah, we're in
Is this a new place?
mine now.
Oh my goodness, we're in a new place with more floating platforms
I
and Christmas
don't,
lights.
I don't have my hands. You know what this game needed was less for me to do.
Well, you gotta find the Christmas lights and, wait for them to blink just to prove that your uncle is still alive in the Upside Down.
Hello, who are you?
Saito. Oh no, frog demon. Knock her
Wow,
off the
you look
cliff.
just like Fred, but smaller and with less hair on your face.
I mean, she's kind of cute in her own way.
Hmm.
I told her that he was my uncle and that I was looking for him.
What's an uncle?
I guess she can live.
I said that he was.
I like how
I had known him.
the narrator isn't nice, like talking to her directly. He's like
Really?
talking in the first person to himself.
Right.
I like to think that he's actually talking to her that way, and she's just like kind of going with it.
Yep.
I don't know why, really.
I
You think
responded
I know.
to your comment
You've
with a
been
clever
into the
quip.
village, right? Let's meet over there in the square. I'll
The
show
way I
you around.
responded to your comment there was incredibly witty and clever, and you couldn't help but feel somewhat attracted to me because of it.
I couldn't believe it.
When I finished speaking, you considered giving me a standing ovation.
Frog people.
It's like, wow, I want to give you a standing ovation now.
Either way,
I smugly nodded, knowing that's how she would respond.
talk like humans. That was
Oh, those
amazing.
poor writers. We haven't paid any attention to the story. And I fell to my doom.
And she's like, oh, well, some might prefer the human person.
I always suspected that humans were terrible at this. My only regret is never telling the frog girl what an uncle is. Why didn't I just answer her questions?
No, I'm dead. Sometimes I wish video games were like intelligent enough. Like this would be like an amazing concept for a video game, was to actually make a game that would actually adapt to whenever you die, and then create an entire ending based off that death.
Every single time.
Like it would just be like a very simple game otherwise, but like it would just come up with this entire scenario of what happens after you die.
Yeah, I mean, you could
And
do
that'd be
one
like
that's-
half the game work there.
Yeah, and you would die every possible way just to see all the endings.
I mean, it used to be like the one main attraction of dying in like Space Quest was that you would get like the narrator would give you like all these sassy death quotes. But
Oh yeah. Zork would do that too. Oh man, very unforgiving game. For a game with a grappling hook, it's really, really hard to correct your errors. Okay. And now we're in a town.
whoa, NPCs.
Hi. Welcome to my village.
Hi.
This is the town square, and that over there is Fred's tent.
Fred's
I
tent.
haven't seen him. in
Where's Fred's tent?
Maybe our elder
Can't
Samuel
find
knows
it.
where he is. He knows a lot of
Fred.
stuff. Mostly boring
Uncle
stuff.
Fred.
Like me, but it's worth a try. Before asking him though, you should check out the village. It's not so bad. Unless you have to stay for too long. When you're done, go to the island with the windmill, and you'll see Samuel's cove from there. I'll go on ahead and tell him that you're coming.
I still don't see his tent.
No, and I can't jump, so I'm not going to look too hard for it. I can jump now.
Madeline and agreed to meet her later.
I walked away before she was done talking.
How could you talk to someone who is not
How rude.
Yeah.
feel like it was perfectly normal?
That would be great if his narration just completely contradicted the story.
I love when characters could talk to you and you just like walk away.
Yeah.
I guess once they actually would respond to you walking away.
I would have so many enemies in every game. I have no idea where his tent was. I followed her finger, I thought.
Maybe the tent was on her finger.
Oh man, I've stumbled into the land of the gigantic frog people.
Yeah, and you just happen to turn into a gigantic human person.
Poor Uncle Fred. He wasn't big enough for this town. Oh man. That was gonna look so sweet if I pulled it off.
Just to walk there like a loser.
Oh. What a waste of everyone's time.
I think it's funny that like the only ones like are really responding to you being here. Like the other ones just don't care. It's like, yeah, just random human person showing up, whatever.
Not that interesting. I guess I can draw stuff on the sky that's worthwhile. Oh no! The price of graffiti is death in this town.
Like the village were built out of trash. Trash from our world.
They're stealing our
It
trash.
was, after all, a garbage disposal pad that took me.
That was a garbage disposal pad? I am not paying nearly enough attention.
I have no idea.
Okay, traffic cone hand guy, you just led me to somewhere boring. And that will be enough NPCs for one play session.
Oh no, it's us. I think.
I'm gonna go with Uncle Fred. We may have found his secret lair where he's been abducting the frog children.
Nope, not that I know of. He lived alone. He didn't really have any time for a family, I guess. He was always away or busy with his inventions. He could be gone for months at a time. I never knew how soon I would see him again.
Yeah, well, that's because he had a secret sucker family.
I think he was too caught up in his
Yeah,
projects to feel
he had a secret frog wife.
An underage frog wife. That is just sick, Uncle Fred.
Especially fond of him, taking after all that he did.
And he makes her eat out of a dog food bowl, apparently.
A father to her.
She didn't have
That's
a
what his
real
frog
father,
wife ate out of.
If she was born from an egg.
That's right. That's another thing we had in common.
What? Okay, you don't stop a sentence with that. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
She said, like, they're talking about the girl not having parents or something. And the girl says, well, that's because she was born from an egg. Uncle Fred, and the narrator, the dad, is like, that's another thing we have in common.
Did he have kids of his own?
Oh, no, I started over.
Not that I know of. He lived alone. He didn't really have any.
I mean, you don't
time
just
for a family,
reveal to your daughter, oh, by the way, I was
Always
born from an
away
egg.
or busy with his
Well, I
inventions.
mean, in a way,
Technically.
we all are born from
Yeah,
eggs.
but that's
I knew
not...
how soon I would see him again.
Don't you think he felt lonely then?
I think he was too caught up in his projects to feel lonely. It seems like he found new friends in the village, though. Maddie seemed to be especially fond of him, taking after
I think it
all
should be
that he
coming
did.
back around.
Maybe
Yeah, I'm watching it this time.
a father to her.
She didn't have a real father, right? If she was born from an egg.
That's right. That's another thing we had in common.
Maybe they're going for, like, neither of us had fathers?
Yeah, maybe.
Or they were both born from an egg. Where am I going? I'm so sick of not going places.
You're in a town full of people. They should all know exactly what to tell you to go where you want to go.
They should all be standing around silently pointing at the next objective. Not talking to me, not giving long-winded stories about their birth from an egg. Just instructing me on how to get further into this game and skip the town.
It's a town you can't escape from.
I know. Fine, I'll just sit here with my duckies. Think about how much I hate this game. By the way, these are my duckies.
Those are some cute duckies.
I hate this game.
It could be better.
Yeah. I'm not even sure how to classify this genre. I mean, it's a first-person platformer, which is a rare thing. It's extra rare that it's just platforming. It's not like a means to an end for another genre. Like, I played plenty of pure platformers. Mario is, of course, the big one. And Mario, it is all just moving around mechanics, but there's, like, obstacles to interact with, there's enemies to fight, there's stuff to do beyond just jumping around. And
Yeah, I feel like the jumping around is there for the, to give you a little bit something to do, but I don't think it's really the point of the game. I think it's more like, I'm trying to remember what, Gone to Rapture, more like that kind of game.
yeah,
Where it's more about trying to tell a story, but with a little bit more interesting gameplay. Not fantastic gameplay, just a little bit more interesting, a little bit
Yeah.
more to do to
slightly
fill in the
more
area.
interesting. Right. mean, there is more game. Not particularly challenging. I clearly suck at it, but I wasn't thinking like, hey, this is a big precision platformer deal. It was just a matter of me not really being clear on where I'm trying to go and how to get there. So yeah, I don't know. I'm tempted to just skip the genre part because it's difficult to classify. Talking about conveyance, they certainly ease me into it in a non-annoying way.
Yeah, I mean, it had a pretty good way of introducing its core mechanics. I mean,
Yeah.
it did the way you expect the game to do, where it gives you the mechanic and it slowly ramps it up until you get more complicated. It's doing stuff like that.
Right.
That's the way you're supposed to do it. But
That's just fine. Giving me easy practice examples and then telling me to chain some stuff together. That's all fine. But yeah, the big thing is like I wasn't engaged by the story. The voice acting was very bland and dully delivered, which didn't help the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we're just kind of walking around trying to trace her uncle's footsteps and figure out what he was up to, and maybe it will get interesting. But,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they put a lot of thought into the story, and if that's the kind of thing that you're into, I'm sure it's got a lot for you to appreciate. But
yeah, so maybe that's a takeaway. Maybe this doesn't need to be a long review session because there's not much to talk about because there's not much game here.
Yeah.
But if you are interested in a game that is mainly focused on story and exploring around where your reward is more bits of the story, and you don't really want intense gameplay, but neither do you want to watch a movie, this game would fill that niche.
Right, which is a pretty small niche, I would think. But hey, I mean, there's a lot of gamers out there, so I don't know how. I'm sure there's plenty of people who are good at that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there's an audience for this one. Move mechanics were okay. I think they'd be better used as part of another game. The grappling thing was the best. We talked about it. I would have liked more swing on it, more like Metroid. It's weird to have a grapple that slowly moves you forward.
Right.
Yeah, you comments on the gravity issue.
Yeah, because it worked so much smoother than than how we use like the grapple beam and like the Metroid Prime. So there was a lot of potential with that. It's just that, again, I don't think it was really meant to be the core part of the game. So they got it to work, but they didn't go past that.
Right. Yeah. Some of the controls were awkward. The long jump was really awkward to do. I like to think it would be easier with a gamepad. You could be using shoulder buttons and whatnot.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't think I have a whole lot more to say. It was a generally bland experience, but not offensively bad by any means.
Yeah, exactly. I can't call this a bad game, but at the same time, it's not one that I would recommend to anybody.
Yeah, and I know this is a really bad format for story-based games because we're bantering with each other and finding plot points to make fun of. But I don't see myself being pulled into the story from the snippets I paid attention to. But your mileage may vary.
I think for me, like if I'm going to a game that's going to give me a story, I want it to either be like an actual RPG, which are always good for stories, or I actually want to be like an adventure game, like your classic Space Quest or Techno Babylon, like we played like not too long ago, where the actual point is a story and there's not this FPS sort of tacked onto it where they want you to go slowly explore it and sample pieces of it, try to figure out what the story is,
and listen to voiceovers while you walk around that have very little to do with what you're doing. Like actually, one of my favorite ways in games is to convey a story is to give you segments where you'll take your time doing things and just have characters talking to each other while you walk around the game and have fun.
Oh yeah, that's like such a fantastic mechanic.
Yeah.
I remember really enjoying Prince of Persia
Yep.
for all the different conversations they would have while you're just jumping around and doing crap.
Right, and they always they got the timing right where you didn't have to stop and listen unless you were like seriously speed running through the game.
Yeah.
If you were playing at a normal pace, you would hear everything they have to say without going out of your way at all.
Right.
Uncharted does some of that, but they still have a lot of cutscenes.
Although, as I understand it, and cutscenes and Uncharted are typically, I mean, besides the actual, cutscenes, they have a lot of moments where they're actually doing it just as a fake loading screen, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Typically, it's like when they're having to, do like a boost or go like unlock a door or try to get up to
Okay,
somewhere
yep.
higher.
Those are
Like
really
that's
loading
actually
screens.
like a loading screen, basically.
Well, that's clever. That's a good way to hide them. Yeah, there was a whole art, especially in the previous gen. We were really starting with GameCube, where games were going out of their way to hide loading screens, kind of clever ways. I think Metroid Prime was one of the games that really jumped on that trend.
Yeah.
Let's see, that was GameCube era. Anyhow, anything else you want to add?
No, I mean that's pretty much all I got to say about this
Yeah,
one.
there's not a lot to say.
Yeah.
So I will give this one a fairly bland closed fist.
Yeah, and I'm going to sort of emulate what the character has been doing this entire time and just sort of hold my hand out and wave it impassively.
Wiggle your thumb every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, that was thoroughly bland. This has been Gamehater reviewing a story about my uncle. We hate this game and we're going to bed. Good night.
Good night.